The Vantrue E1 Pro squeezes genuine 4K recording into one of the smallest dashcams you can buy, but that tiny body comes with several problems you probably won't spot from the feature list. Because at first glance, everything seems ideal. For example, at roughly 2 inches wide and weighing just 95 grams, the E1 Pro can hide behind your rearview mirror without taking over the windshield. And the magnetic mount also makes it easy to remove whenever you leave the car. So you might be thinking that the smaller size means substandard features. Well, not exactly. The genuine 4K recording gives you a better chance of capturing signs, vehicles, and important incident details. GPS adds your speed and location to the evidence, while 5 GHz Wi-Fi helps you transfer clips quickly. Voice commands let you protect footage without touching the camera, and the circular polarizing filter cuts windshield glare. So what's the issue? Well, there are a few. For example, you may find that the screen is fiddly to use, and the cube-shaped mount may hang lower than expected. But the real issues are less obvious. Independent reviewers found that this tiny camera becomes unusually hot during use, and owner reviews mention potential memory card errors. You can reduce the risk by installing the latest firmware, using a manufacturer-recommended high-endurance memory card, formatting it monthly, and occasionally checking a saved clip. During extreme summer heat, Vantrue recommends collision detection instead of continuous parking recording. The supercapacitor is also better suited to high temperatures than a conventional battery, making this a concern you can manage rather than an automatic reason not to buy. But there's a much deeper issue that could be a deal-breaker for many. The PlatePix technology can make a license plate stand out, but it can also darken the surrounding road and vehicles. That could be useful when the plate is the detail you need, but you may lose valuable context elsewhere. So let's find out if this seriously impacts the footage quality. Because 4K capabilities means very little if the one plate you need disappears into blur or darkness. In daylight, the footage is crisp, colorful, and detailed enough to show road signs, vehicle movements, and lane positions clearly. Independent testing also captured plates on parked cars at around 25 miles per hour, while vehicles traveling in the same direction were easier to identify. But that's the easy part. At 30 frames per second, high-speed captures become more challenging. Longer exposure and headlight glare make the problem worse at night. Here's where the PlatePix technology can improve plate contrast so it has genuine value. However, as mentioned, the clearer plate can make the surrounding scene noticeably darker, especially in low light. I wouldn't say this potential issue makes the camera unusable because the footage is good enough to document the wider circumstances of an incident, but it cannot guarantee a readable plate every time. However, not every incident happens while you're driving. If someone reverses into your parked car and leaves, the next question is whether the E1 Pro will catch them. On the plus side, buffered motion detection saves the 15 seconds before movement is detected and 30 seconds afterwards. That gives you a better chance of seeing someone approach your car, the incident itself, and what they do next. To keep that feature working after the ignition is switched off, you will normally need Vantrue's separately sold hardwire kit. With an ignition-aware connection, the E1 Pro can enter parking mode straight away. If it relies on detecting that the car has stopped moving, it may take 5 minutes to switch over. You also need to choose the right recording mode. Collision detection uses less power and is better suited to very hot weather, but it only records after the impact. Low bitrate recording covers the entire parking period, while time-lapse saves storage but removes the audio. If you regularly leave your car on the street, I think buffered motion detection and the hardwire kit are the best combination. If you only want footage while driving, the standard plug-in installation will be simpler. Installing the E1 Pro is fairly straightforward. You place the electrostatic sheet on the windshield, attach the adhesive bracket, and run the USB-C cable around the trim to your 12-volt socket. It's a simple plug-in job unless you decide to add the parking mode hardwire kit. However, the entire dashcam is useless without a memory card, and the bad news is that this is sold separately. But it does support up to 1 terabyte. More on the exact costs later. Just bear in mind that 4K video creates large files. Once the normal folder fills, loop recording replaces the oldest clips. Locked clips are stored separately, but the event folder is limited to 30% of the card. Once that fills, newer event clips replace the oldest, so download anything important after an incident. Most daily tasks are handled through the Vantrue app, including changing settings, viewing recordings, and saving clips to your phone. The connection is generally straightforward, although joining the camera's Wi-Fi network can interrupt wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, or your phone's internet access. But how does the E1 Pro hold up over the long term? At the time of research, out of a potential 5-star rating, Vantrue's website rated the E1 Pro 4.53 from 78 reviews, while its Amazon listing showed 3.9 from more than 1,400. The scores are not directly comparable, but the Amazon rating shows that buyers have not been uniformly satisfied. The better news is that several owners report months of regular use, including long daily journeys and summer driving, without the camera failing. The available feedback does not reveal a clear pattern of widespread hardware failure. Some early reliability concerns may have been software-related. Vantrue's update history confirms fixes for duplicate frames, freezing, large card recognition, incorrect GPS times, and playback smoothness. That means you should check the date and firmware version before treating an older complaint as a current problem. Because the E1 Pro only launched in 2025, convincing multi-year evidence is still relatively limited. Here's my pro tip. Registering it extends the warranty from 12 to 18 months, an easy way to extend your protection. Based on the evidence available, I'd say reliability is not a clear reason to reject it, although I would keep it updated and confirm occasionally that it is still recording correctly. The advertised price of around $170 via the link below does not include a memory card, which you need before the camera can record anything. Vantrue's 64GB card costs around $40, bringing the working price with Vantrue's card to approximately $210. A compatible third-party endurance card may reduce that total. Parking protection pushes the price higher. Vantrue's hardwire kit costs around $25, taking that Vantrue branded setup to approximately $235 before any professional installation. When available, Vantrue's bundle containing the camera, hardwire kit, and a 256GB card costs around $200, making it considerably better value than buying those items separately. Remote monitoring is where the cost really jumps. The optional LTE module adds another $150, while the US data plan costs around $10 for 2 GB over 30 days. Most buyers will not need this. The E1 Pro remains reasonably priced if you only need driving footage. Once you add parking protection, remote monitoring, or professional installation, then the jump in cost means that you might want to consider some alternatives. For example, the closest rival is likely the VIOFO A119M Pro. It uses the same Sony STARVIS 2 sensor and captures 4K at 30 frames per second. It also adds Wi-Fi 6, although its 140-degree lens captures less of the road than the E1 Pro's wider view. Without direct testing, I would call it a strong alternative rather than the definite winner. The E1 Pro responds with its smaller magnetic design, support for 1TB cards, and optional LTE remote monitoring. That makes it more appealing if discretion, storage, and remotely checking your parked car matter to you. The VIOFO A119 Mini 2 cost less when I checked, and it captures 2K at 60 frames per second, which can reduce blur during fast daytime movement. However, enabling HDR drops the recording rate to 30 frames per second. If rear coverage matters, consider the 70mm A810S. It uses the same Sony front sensor and supports an optional rear camera. That leaves the final decision. Do the E1 Pro's advantages suit your driving needs well enough to justify choosing it over those alternatives? Based on everything we've looked at, I'd say that it's best suited to someone who wants discrete front coverage and mainly drives in daylight or well-lit areas. It suits buyers who value incident context over reading every passing plate. PlatePix does not make the E1 Pro a deal breaker because you can switch it off. Compare it with the standard mode on a familiar route, then keep whichever gives you the most useful evidence. The heat and earlier software problems mean you should still confirm that the camera is recording properly, particularly after a firmware update or extremely hot weather. I would skip the E1 Pro if you need rear or cabin coverage, or if much of your driving happens on unlit roads and reading fast-moving plates is your main priority. Pick it up via the link below, or check out my list of alternative dash cams, also linked below if required.